fuck it, we'll do it live?
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
All right, tonight on Stumbling Down History Road, we're going to be going over the lore and a little bit of the history of the Imperial Guard from Warhammer 40k, so we're going to touch up on that a little bit more. This is going to be like a part 2 episode of it. I'm Jackson. On the phone, I got
TJ?
Works for us.
TJ. And next to me,
As always, I'm D.
Yep.
So the Astra Militarum.
Yes, or the Imperial Guard. They're,
For the old crowd.
I'm sorry?
For the old crowd, it's the Imperial Guard. They updated it. All their codexes are now labeled Astra Militarum.
Yeah, but, no.
But yeah, I agree.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. To the Great Parrot Head, we're doing a little bit of a kind of
We got some margaritas.
I got
Rest
Shirley
in peace,
Temple
Jimmy.
margarita and my little bucket hat going here. Got it the
That's all right. I've got my own little bundle of bottle of some such over here, so I guess we're all on level footing.
We're all parroted.
wasting away again in Margaritaville.
But that pertains nothing to 40k. How much do you actually know about 40k and Games Workshop? Just as like a brief overview for what we initially talked about. If you didn't see our episode.
Sorry.
That's correct.
I just meant like in general. How much do you know about it? How much can we fill you in on that real fast, and then we'll talk Imp.
Well, let's see. I have the brief summary of events from when the Empire was just Earth, and then there's quite a few missing holes there as far as relevant events up until the current. I believe the last major event that I was aware of was the fall of Cadia.
I mean, I was kind of just talking about with like Games Workshop as a whole and how they came about into doing this.
History of the company in specific. Not a whole lot of information.
This is a history episode, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of touched/went over it a little bit in the first one.
Yeah, we did a good amount of that.
Then we just kind of devolved
we
into
definitely did a
bullshit.
good amount of touching.
Oh, we fondled the shit out of it.
Yeah. One might say it was a Submariner for a day.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So Games Workshop, founded in 1975, they're pretty much known for getting D&D. They were the first publishing rights for D&D in the UK, and they had exclusive rights. They had started off initially as basically just doing like chessboards, checkers, things like that. And then once they started importing in D&D, they went with the White Dwarf magazine as like a little role-playing game of their own type thing, and that led into 40k, and they obviously had the wherewithal to continue it out and see it without. And initially started off with 3 dudes, now there's just 2, and now they're not even like these 2 dudes.
Wait.
It's kind of just like publicly traded. Yeah, go ahead.
Why is it White Dwarf magazine? Oh my god, you can't just ask somebody why it's White Dwarf magazine. Sorry. Intrusive thought joke.
Well, you can.
I was doing a Mean Girls bit there.
But yeah, and it slowly went from Warhammer to Warhammer 40k, and then there's now like Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 30k. They have a Lord of the Rings tabletop thing. They got all sorts of fun shit.
You know what I just found out it exists?
No, I don't know what you just found out exists. Tell me, what did you know just found out exists?
There's a
That's
Demon
not-
City Shinjuku tabletop game.
Yes, we will do a Hideyoki Kukuchi episode.
No, I
at some
just
point.
literally found out about I just didn't know it was a thing that existed up until like 3 months ago.
Was that brief info that I gave you more than you knew about the actual Games Workshop themselves, or?
Yes, that would be accurate. I was not too concerned with the history of the company. What I know is that their models are morbidly expensive.
Correct. The average price for a 50 to 200 point piece is anywhere from $40 to $50. And then from there, there's even more things. Obviously,
Just one piece?
well, you get squads of like 50 to 200 point value, which is 6 to 8 to 10, depending on what you play, little models for anywhere from 40 to $50 on average. If you wanted like a tank, that's typically about 30 to $40. If you wanted some of the giant mechas that they have, that would be somewhere in the realm of like $200, $300. It's nuts.
Those would be super heavy weapons, correct?
Well, I mean, it depends. Are we going with Forge World as well, or are we just going with strictly Dickley Games Workshop? Because Forge World is their own little offshoot, technically.
That's correct. They make custom models that Games Workshop either doesn't have the time or resources to put out.
Yes, and they are officially licensed. They're
I was gonna say
all
that
hunky
they're
dory.
licensed.
Yeah. They're all hunky dory with them.
'Cause I
They're the
know
guys
they're
that actually have
litigious.
they're the guys that actually make the Tiberius the Red Wake model that I want. Yeah.
Because I heard they're pretty Games Workshop can be kind of litigious about that shit.
Oh, extremely. You have to have,
Yeah.
I think it's 60% or more of a base model being 100% Games Workshop, and then from there you're allowed to like modify it with cool little doodads and nifty things.
Yes. They do have
doesn't care in
a
orc.
very aggressive legal team.
Yes, they do. You used to be able to post things on YouTube and all sorts of other stuff, and then they were like, "Nah, our property."
Because this channel I listen to every now and again, they do minis, and they refer to theirs as the Grim Dark something. Or
Yes,
another.
Grim Dark figures, not 40K.
Yeah, a certain Grim Dark tabletop game.
Yeah. So yeah, talk to us a little bit about the Imperial Guard or Astra Militarium.
Yes, the Imperial
That's why
Guard
we have you here. You're a specialty of this.
Yes, I.
So if you can just go
have
ahead and talk to us about this, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
Anytime you want to start, buddy.
You're a fantastic host, and I really appreciate all your help.
Thank you. I love you too.
All right. So the Imperial Guard, also colloquially known as the Hammer of the Imperium, is the massed force of human conscripts and various and sundry other elements drawn from a million upon a million worlds through a tithe, so that there is always fresh soldiers to defend the Imperium from the threat of Xenos and outside influence.
Could you tell me what a Xeno is real fast?
Yes. Xenos being any alien or non-human, with a few minor exceptions, that the Imperium would like to see squashed out, either because they absolutely want to eat and kill you or just murder you off.
Yes. Okay, that sounds bad.
Yes, that would be a bad thing.
The best Xenos is the orcs. They the best boys.
Ooh. I find it hard to disagree.
We loves a good crumps around here.
I just enjoyed that any mad lad idea that Games Workshop couldn't fit into another faction was just given to the orcs. I love that.
We get the squiggies and we fire them off. We use them as beards. We like being orcs around here. Green boys is the best.
For teeps and grog.
Hey, the red makes us go faster.
The purple makes them stealthier.
The blue is the luck, which is why the blue boys always wins. Because they're the lucky ones.
Yep. We all love orcs.
Well, except for old Baelai. Except I think he's dead now.
Yes. That would be Commissar Yarrick, would it not?
Yep, old Baelai.
Yeah. Commissar Yarrick of the Commissariat, who was assigned to I believe, a war world.
What is a commissary?
The commissary are the morale division.
Could you talk to me like I'm 5?
You bet, buddy.
You are.
Thank you.
Imagine being on the front lines of Stalingrad, and there's a dude behind you with a really nice peaked cap and a pistol, and he tells you not one step back. And then if you turn around and run away, he shoots you. That's a commissar.
Okay. So an officer on a submarine.
Yes, basically the same thing.
I'm sensing a running joke with you guys here.
We know each other from our time in the Navy. That's all we're gonna say.
Did you sail the seven seas?
That's all we're gonna say.
In the Navy.
If only you could see my face right
International
now.
waters. International waters are a sketchy place, my friend.
I don't remember the lyrics to the song, otherwise I'd be singing more.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, the fun thing about the Astra Militarum, or Imperial Guard, is that because they are drawn from so many varying worlds with so many varying climates, cultures, versions of the Imperial Creed, which is the religious side of it,
Yes.
that almost every regiment is vastly different, both in size, preferred fighting style, equipment. There are a few caveats that they are required to sort of similarize themselves with. There are certain things they have to do, and certain
everyone
things
has a
they can and
las
can't
gun.
say. Yes. There's a standard kit that they're supposed to carry. Obviously, there are exceptions because it's millions upon millions of worlds. Oh, yeah.
Death Corps.
For example...
We'll cover the Death Corps a little bit later. We can just do a broad overview of the Imperial Guard and how they were part of the initial run and part of the initial... it wasn't called the Imperial Guard at the time. There was like Solar something when they started to actually help out the Emperor in finding the Primarchs. And the Crusade.
Yes, that's an important point.
So,
The Primarch group, all the Primarchs were made as sort of sun figures. They're sort of seen that way of the Emperor. They're kind of like the biggest, baddest space marines, but they all got scattered amongst the stars.
Yes.
So the God Emperor had to go find them.
It sounds like we have a question from... go ahead.
So the one thing I think I know about the about the Guard here is that their specialty is sending wave after wave of their own men to their deaths.
They are both Russia and not Russia.
Well, I was making a Futurama
Oh
reference.
my God!
They
Imagine if
they play the Zap Brannigan.
yes and no.
Imagine if any given country from around the world had the same level of manpower that Russia had, and a few smaller similarities. It's basically that.
So basically,
the problem
China?
is that you're. Yeah, the problem is that you're not fighting a German or another human. You're fighting big, nasty, ugly aliens that want to eat you and can do so very easily.
Yeah, they don't just survive with the throw bodies at it tactician because the Tyranids and the Orcs outnumber them. So it's not just a throw bodies at it. They do need some tactics and they do need some skills. However, obviously sometimes things happen.
I mean,
they are still humans fighting God knows what.
I mean, the killbots do have.
Sorry, Emperor knows what.
Praise the throne.
No.
Blood for the blood throne.
There we go.
Well, okay.
Blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne.
There you go. You got it right that time.
I'm not saying that World Eaters are my favorite legion, but I am saying that World Eaters are my favorite legion.
What about the Space Sharks?
Space Sharks.
I will not fight you on that.
Space Sharks.
Woo!
We already did the whole song last episode.
Yeah, in the last 40K episode, I did a DuckTales Space Sharks woo crossover.
Oh,
check it out. Call back to the callback.
Reference to the reference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reference to the reference counter. But Imperial Guard, they help the Emperor initially find all of the Primarchs. They help him conquer the universe. All this fun stuff. And then some of them followed along with the traitors. Some of them got corrupted by things like... Yeah. Some of them got corrupted by the warp. Some of them followed traitor factions, traitor legions, and were part of that because they were like, oh my god, the legions, they saved me during this giant thing. And, a lot of them are just boys that are like... Or not just boys, but like, people that are like...
That's sexist.
There is a lot of women, too.
Oh my god. Yeah, no one is free from any kind of servitude. You are required to fight if you are an Imperial citizen.
There is a tithe. But
so, Is it like Starship Troopers?
But
To a certain degree.
What's the moral difference between a citizen and a civilian?
Oh, let's see.
we will cover
Civilians
this.
are.
We will cover this in the future. Well, let's put a pin in
Oh,
this.
okay.
That is
all
the
right,
exact
all right,
words.
all
That
right.
is the exact
Let's-
words of the text.
Let's put a little pin in this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Report to your Munitorum station and eat your corpse starch.
they're all
That's more like it.
they're all uniform dress. They all have to be spick and spam. They all get standard las pistols. They fought in obviously the heresy, the great war of that. They fought in 30K. They fought now in current rifts where it's what raid is going on because of Abaddon, what things of this. They're all over the place because they make up humans of any world, and there's like millions of fucking worlds. It's nuts. So,
Yep.
as stated previously, there's all sorts of different styles like Ogren. They're just these beefcakes. Think,
abhuman.
yeah. I mean, they're human-esque.
Is there a
Yeah, no, they're considered abhumans, and they are human enough to make the cut and not alien enough to murder off. So they just get conscripted and used as shock troops or snipers.
Yeah, typically what I remember seeing the Ogren as in playing, because I did a little bit of playing, they were just the beef boy walls.
Imagine an orc that looks like a human.
Yeah.
So which one's the one that straps the naked ladies to the tank if they fuck up?
That's the sisters battle. No.
Adeptus Sororitas.
Yes, but the colloquial name, Sisters of Battle.
Oh, Sisters of Battle.
That's what it is.
Sisters of Battle.
Yeah,
They also follow the Imperium Creed, which is the Emperor is our god.
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
if you fuck up apparently in it, they just strap you to a tank naked and say either die or kill everything.
Yeah, either die or
They
kill enough things to be unpunished.
Yes. The thing about the Sisters of Battle is that they fall somewhere in the middle between Space Marines, which are like the spear tip, and
he said
the
tip.
Imperial Guard, which are the hammer. So you end up right in the middle where they're basically human, but they have the power of faith, which gives them crazy, wacky abilities, and they have way better gear than the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, they're
And the power of nakedness.
This is true.
I like
Well,
frustrating
if you want
Jackson.
to, if you really want to stick on that point, the whole naked ladies and scantily clad women in battle armor thing, they have a model called the Penitent Engine, and that is a scantily clad woman that has been strapped into a massive battle mech suit.
That's what I was
Correct.
talking about.
don't Google that. It's probably NSFW.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're probably right.
But
I mean, if you looked at a
now that we covered some of the boring stuff about the Imperial Guard, yes, they're humans. There's a tie. They all get las guns. They're all uniform. It's basically like Russia, but better tactics, things like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about individuals and some of the lore behind like some of the cool ones. I mentioned Deathcore really briefly. Let's just talk about some of our favorites, some of our least favorites, important battles, things like that.
There are approximately 10 regiments from 10 different worlds that are the iconic Imperial Guard regiments. They are the ones that models get made of and the ones that most of the lore is about.
okay, and some of them are.
So
I mentioned
Imagine-
Deathcore twice. Three
Yes,
times
he
now,
did.
so.
The Death Corps of Krieg. Imagine your standard World War I stormtrooper, like German stormtrooper, with the gas mask and the helmet with the little spike on it. But these guys are a cut above the rest. They are insane.
Yeah.
Don't they also have the shovels, or is that something else?
No, that's very much the same thing.
Okay.
Depends on which model kit you get.
That's true. But the joke is, if you give a Death Corps of Krieg foot soldier, a trooper, a shovel, he needs nothing else to get the job done. He will either kill the enemy with that shovel or he will die horribly.
So,
Neat.
it's I've heard it referred to as like a lot of different things. You should always be wary of an old man in a war that takes young lives, things like that.
I know the saying.
Never trust.
Yeah, it's
Never trust a clean mechanic. Always look for a dirty one. Things like that. Like he is the fucking. He's the Duke. He's the John Wayne. He's the fucking. He is
Krieg.
Yeah, he is like the fucking guy. He is General Sherman.
I do stand Sherman. Good old Burnin' Sherman.
Yeah.
Like Patton in a gas mask. Just scary.
Yeah, like he is the prototypical, the stereotypical, oh, I don't fuck with him. He is the equalizer. He's John Wick. Like, you have a stereotypical old badass character, that's the dude. He is Machete.
My favorite.
All right, let me just ask real quick to clarify.
No.
Just real quick. I'll fight you. Anyway, let me ask. I may have misheard you, but did you say Creed with a D at the end or Krieg with a G at the end?
Yes.
Oh, I'll fight you. Yes, but if you're speaking about Creed with a D at the end of his name, that would be Alistan Creed, the Lord Militant of the Cadian branch of the Imperial Guard. Cadians are stand your ground experts. They're constantly at war on their home world, or at least they were until recent events. But the whole thing behind Cadians is they are the finest example of the Imperial Guard that you can find anywhere in the Segmentum Solar, which is that part of the solar system.
Yes.
Our solar system?
Their solar system.
A solar system.
Sure.
Oh, forgive me. The best in that branch of the Milky Way. We're talking about millions upon millions of worlds here. So they wouldn't be in our solar system. They would be in a segmentum, which I think there are 4 parts of the Milky Way.
I don't remember. But I
don't know.
get what
I've got
you're
the
saying.
book somewhere. Yeah. But fun and interesting point.
They're the best of the
recently,
best,
yeah, they're like diehard. Krieg and Cadians would get along very well, but they're not the same.
Yeah. One is World War II tactics, World War I tactics. The other is like modern day tactics.
Yeah, guerrilla,
So Call of Duty
big
versus Call of
foxholes.
Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Okay. We're
But
going back to World War II.
Jesus.
fun and interesting point about the Cadians in recent events, at least in the last year, Games Workshop has made it canon that Abaddon the Despoiler, one of the big bad guys, basically allegedly played billiards with 2 planets, Cadia and another one that he brought with him, and destroyed all of that world. And the joke is, the only reason that the Cadians failed is because Cadia fell. Like, they didn't stop fighting until the entire planet was completely annihilated.
Yeah.
They were still shooting at things.
Yeah. I do want to make a point that, just for people who don't understand, a lasgun, think of it like a bullet hitting the Terminator. The Terminator being anything not a human, and the bullet being obviously a bullet. They're jokingly referred to as like flashlights.
Yeah,
Well,
here's
apparently
the thing.
Powerful.
They are
Yes,
they are superheated lasers, but given the world around them, they're not much more than like BB guns.
But yes,
Yep.
somehow exploding rockets are the best.
That depends.
Hey, the Emperor made bolters to protect.
Okay, but listen here. The reason why the Imperial Guard... I'll fight you. I'll fight you so hard.
More DACA.
The reason why...
DACA.
You're getting onto it right there. That's kind of the point I'm making. The reason why the Imperial Guard is as effective as it is with the weapons that they've got is because of volley fire. If there are enough flashlights, you can kill just about anything.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 100 of something, 1 in 100 will hit.
I mean, they did once invent a machine gun that was meant to be armor piercing that literally just fired 22 at an extremely high volume rate.
What's the old adage? There's enough universes out there that somewhere you can give a monkey a typewriter and
No, if
he'll
you have
come
enough monkeys, if you put enough monkeys in a room and give them enough time, they will eventually write you Shakespeare.
See?
Yep.
There you go.
But
who'd have thunk it?
But yeah, no, that was an actual gun. It was like it fired like only 22, but it fired like 1,000 rounds a second, and it was just meant to.
People still build those, but they build them on AR platforms.
Yeah, it's just kind of meant to just.
I want a mini machine gun. I want a mini Gatling gun. Titman makes one.
So scale the machine gun as if the 22 was like a larger caliber.
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah,
that would be cool.
That's the flashlights or las guns.
Oh, do you know about the magazines that they use?
Yeah, that they can basically be removed and thrown as frag grenade type things. Yeah.
Well, that's one use. So the idea behind a power pack, as they're called, is that a single Imperial Guardsman will be given 2 of them by the Munitorum. That's like the supply branch of the Imperial Guard.
That is Minotaurs.
Or the yes, no, absolutely not. Yeah. I knew you were going to get around to that sooner or later. Oh God! But you can remove the power pack from the weapon and place it in a campfire, and it will charge like you're plugging in a car battery.
Yeah.
And then you put it back in the gun and fire it.
Yes.
It's gotta be really hot. I hope you have an oven mitt for that, or maybe some clacky tongs.
I hope.
Clack clack.
Please stop.
No.
You were saying?
Another fun fact about the Munitorum when it comes to power packs as ammunition sources is that they'll issue you 2 of them as an Imperial Guardsman, and they expect you to use them for the extended duration of your career. However, they overlooked begging, borrowing, and stealing as long as you care for that equipment because it is part of the machine's spirit.
So the spirit likes crime?
You want to tackle that one, Spradlin? The machine spirit?
Adbex, they fuck toasters.
That's succinct. I like it.
Yep.
Why would...
Next.
Okay.
That's all you really need to know. Let's talk about some cool. Yeah, let's talk about some cool Imperial Guards. We were kind of talking about Creed and Krieg.
Yeah, we got off topic on that one.
I heard Creed's a good movie, though.
Shut up. Stop.
All right, gentlemen. Children.
Dad?
So
think of the children.
All right. You with your caveats, I swear. So we spoke about the Cadians, and it kind of explained them. Then the Death Corps of Krieg. And then there are another force that is almost as iconic as the Cadians, known as the Catachan Jungle Fighters.
They're just Vietnamese.
Now, the Catachan... No, it is an entire regiment, which is upward of 200 guys, and there are many different regiments that are summed up from that one world.
We can cut that out.
And they're... Oh, okay. All right. Fine. You want to talk about Catachan?
The bad joke that I did.
I am the Lorax, and I speak for the trees. And for some reason, they speak fucking Vietnamese.
Imagine 200 John Rambos.
Yes.
Fighting as a combined unit. That's a Catachan regiment.
Huh.
Yep.
Do they all slur their words, too?
Probably.
I didn't ask for this. You sent me over there.
Correct.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Probably the best emoji he's ever done.
There are a number of iconic Imperial Guard heroes that are outlined in their codexes.
And
I
traders.
believe the catech. Yes,
Trader?
yes, very similar concept.
Yeah, so you can get a couple
but-
iconic traders. In fact, there's one that very famously hangs out with the World Eaters because she just sort of like fucks on Angron. He gets all angry and she's just like, somebody go slap the shit out of him. He's being a whiny bitch. And it's just like,
For
what?
a moment, I thought you were about to say she. Never mind.
Yeah, no. And it's just like,
But maybe.
what? Excuse me? That's our Primarch. I don't give a fuck who it is.
Yikes.
He's being a bitch.
Hang on. Doesn't Angron have the butcher's nails in his head?
Uh-huh.
He was a big
Oh,
softy
Jesus.
boy until that.
That sounds like a real bad idea. Don't get on his bad side.
I mean, he does have those big
Anyway.
axes. Or is that the other
Anyway,
guy?
I believe the point I was trying to work toward was that of the Imperial heroes labeled in the Codex, Catachan's Imperial hero is this guy called Sly Marbo. It's like if you took two Sylvester Stallones and slapped them together. He's such a bulky guy, he can carry a heavy bolter into combat and fire it from the hip.
But he's not a Marine.
I think he would fight you on that one.
He has a bolter. I don't feel like it.
It's
It's
Lortara Sarin. That's what I'm thinking of. A naval officer of the Imperium during the Horus Heresy.
Does she just have a big handprint?
Oh, no joke. She was an Imperial Navy officer?
Yeah.
In the Navy.
Yeah, and she like I said, she's kind of a badass. But she's chaos, and you're not talking about chaos. You're mostly
That's
here
fine.
for
We can
Imperial
talk
Guard.
about there. Listen, there's more than enough tangents going on that we can get mathematical about this, okay?
I think what you mean is we can get sextant about it.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead. Six
Okay, so-
John Rambos combined into one.
Yeah. Guy is beefy. He's basically the equivalent of a space marine without any kind of augmentation. The guy was just born big.
Thickums eye.
Say again now?
Thickums eye.
Yeah. Okay, so we spoke about Cadians, Krieg,
Hilarious or ridiculous.
Catachan. Then there's the Talarn Desert guys. They're from a place called Talarn, and not a whole lot is known about them because they just weren't as popular as the other regiments.
Are they part of the Tau?
But they're basic. No, the Talarn Desert guys are like imagine Lawrence of Arabia and his whole crew, but they're crazier.
Understood.
Yeah.
Really have
So
to
they,
get around to watching Lawrence of Arabia now that I think about it.
Which version?
it's a good movie. It's great.
Which the best version? I don't know.
The one with Peter. What's his name?
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
15 hours.
That's the one I was talking
it's a
about.
long
I just
movie.
didn't know if there was like a director's cut version versus like a theatrical cut version of that movie. But yeah, I know that's
I
the one
wouldn't
I'm talking
trust-
It's like 5 hours to begin with. Why would they have a director's cut? He didn't
Yeah.
cut anything.
about. I mean,
In
It's a
fact,
Lord
he-
of the Rings marathon, my guy.
In fact, he went,
I don't mind.
there's not enough stuff in here. Let's throw more in that I didn't film.
As we went over in the last episode.
Which last episode?
Samurai
Was
films.
Gotcha.
Seven Samurai is like almost 4 hours long. That's one of my favorite films of all time. So I don't
That is
mind
true.
the
He
long
does enjoy the lengthy movies, the girthy movies.
I like a girthy movie.
Canonically
Stout.
speaking, it's still Jurassic Park for me. That's my favorite.
Jurassic Park is good stuff.
I told you, I found somebody for an episode for that.
You were saying Desert Boys.
Yeah, so there's them, and then there's the Valhallans, which are basically in the same tier bracket as the Talarn Desert Raiders. The Valhallans are like Cossacks. Like they're Russians, but they're like old Russians.
Did you say Cusacks? Like Joan Cusack? John Cusack?
No, Cossacks, like they're a type of like Russian and Iberian Iberian Peninsula, I think, where like Serbia is. They're a type
Ooh.
of a. They're. You ever see the guys who have like the sabers that don't have hilts, and they kind of swing them around, and they kind of wear like the big dress coats and the almost like turban-y hats?
Yep, and
Got
big
it.
mustaches.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, the big mustaches and. If you look up like saber dancing, it's the guys they spin the sabers. I think they were featured in an episode of Lost of Wild Boys.
Wild Boys.
Shout out to our we gotta do a Jackass episode.
We should do a Jackass episode.
Do you know Brad Pitt was in an episode of Jackass?
A lot of people did cameos.
Yeah, he was in like I want to say the first episode of the second season or some shit when they're skateboarding around to LA in ape suits, and the one that eats a lot of shit into like a bush or something like that. Yeah, that was fucking Brad Pitt. You see him take off his helmet, the thing and everything in the episode.
What?
Yeah, no shit.
Yes, it's very good.
Yeah, Brad Pitt ate shit on a skateboard in Jackass wearing a gorilla costume.
yes, very good. Yes.
It's on YouTube.
I really wish it was Matt Damon instead.
Matt Damon.
You know, that's his favorite role he's ever done.
That's what?
What's
That's
that?
his favorite role he's ever done.
Matt Damon. If you ever get the chance to meet Matt Damon, ask him about his role on Team America. He loves it.
He literally just responds with Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
So good. I think the best part of that whole movie was when he grabbed onto one of the
fuck yeah.
No, he grabbed onto one of the good guys and they went to throw him off and he went, Matt Damon. It was good. It was very, very well done.
I love and dicks fuck pussies. But sometimes they also have to fuck assholes.
Yep.
Because an asshole is just 1.2 inches from a pussy or some shit.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Didn't they win an Oscar for that movie?
I don't know if they won it, but they definitely got nominated. That said,
They went to the Oscars in dresses on acid.
That said, Matt Stone and Trey Parker have another movie which me and Mr. TJ here love together. You remember that photo I sent to you, Bud, back when Graham was still living with me?
I think so.
Not you.
Oh.
I believe so.
It's from
Refresh me.
Orgasmo.
Oh. I've never actually fully seen that movie. I have to get around to it.
I don't want to sound queer or nothing, but that guy's ass looks pretty good. I'm only saying this because he loosely looks like him in that movie.
Oh, no.
My favorite
Oh,
is...
God.
Have you seen that movie? Orgasmo?
I've never seen the whole thing. I've seen bits and pieces, but I've never seen... That and Basketball I've never seen the whole thing of.
Oh, Basketball's good. You should watch it. That said, let's get back onto this. Somebody derailed us, TJ.
I'm
And
sorry.
the Wombat?
Anyway, so I think that's 5. That's 5 regiments that are pretty iconic. Oh, fun fact about the Valhallans, I believe they're one of the few regiments that actually use flintlock lasguns.
I'm sorry, what?
Flintlock las
Yes.
guns. You heard
They
the
are
man.
they are single they are single shot intended for volley fire, developed on like less technologically advanced worlds. They were built because there was literally nothing to allow them to have a fire selector.
That... I fucking love how ridiculous this shit gets.
Oh yeah.
Welcome
out
to
of
the
hand.
wide world of 40K.
By the way, I
yeah.
have to make the reference with the Valhallans, but do they also have a...
Valhalla!
And the Infraggable Crunk. And,
The
I don't
infraggable
believe
crunk.
and Major Glory. No? You don't get that one?
I understood the reference, but they don't have it.
Ah.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
That's a
now that we've covered a number of those iconic regiments, there is one caveat to this whole thing. There is the Imperial Guard as infantry, armor, artillery, and then specialized units. Those are the four main branches of the regiments. Those are what can be organized. However, there is also the Imperial Navy, and the Navy and the Imperial Guard are not allowed to work in tandem under a single commander because of the Horus Heresy.
Hold on. Do you see it now?
Yeah, just without the mullet going on there.
Yep. Go ahead.
He looks like a son. He looks like the son of that guy and the guy from Workaholics.
Yep. I love you.
Oh, you will pay.
I'm gonna send this to you so that you can remember it.
Oh, good. Thank you. Memories. Woo.
Yep. Hey, it's fine.
Oh,
this was fun times on the boat.
That's a fair point.
So, please tell me when you get it. But yeah, so the Navy and the Guard are not allowed to work together due to the heresy. The Navy works on the airships predominantly. Like they are the airships force effectively, and the Guards are the Army equivalency.
But in the Navy, they could use a helping hand.
Yes. Are you good, bud?
Yeah, that's a loaded statement, my guy. What do you mean by that?
See, I'm making in the Navy references here. I don't care.
All right. But yes, the idea is that if one unit that was combined arms decided to turn to heresy, then they could do way more damage. So the doctrine is written so that they cannot fight in combined arms between branches. This way, if anyone does turn to heresy, it becomes way easier to wipe them out.
So wait, is there an Air Force too?
No, it's just the Navy and the Guard. Effectively, the Navy is the Air Force.
So
yeah, the Navy operates any aircraft as pilots or crew members, as well as spaceships, low orbit, and warp travel capable spaceships.
Yeah, what he said.
If you're boots on the ground, you're Guard. If you're up in the air, you're Navy. That's it.
And there are no oceans.
Buddy.
There are no such things as oceans.
I mean,
actually, I've seen a number of orc models for attack boats.
It's fine.
The orc boys.
It's probably fine.
Yeah.
It's probably fine.
The orcs are the only ones that know how to actually traverse ocean or sea. Everyone else just falls underneath and is like, we'll just walk it.
Yeah.
We die.
March them into the ocean, 6 abreast.
We die.
We'll build a bridge out of their corpses.
Yeah, they all float down here.
You will float too.
Well, I hope not. That would make it hard to build a bridge.
If they float?
You'll float
too.
That'll make it easier. They're buoyant.
No, you got currents and you got tsunamis and stuff. It would be so much more effective if the bodies were piled all the way to the seafloor. It would be way sturdier.
Just tie some rope around it.
Have every man carry a cinder block?
Sure.
There's a lot of different versions of lasguns.
Yes, there is.
Oh, yeah.
And
so many.
And again, they have different levels of effectiveness based off of what you hit. Obviously, something unarmored, like, say, an orc or a Tyranid, is going to be different than a fucking Space Marine or a Primarch, for God's sakes. So.
You might as well be throwing pebbles at a brick wall if you're trying to shoot a Space Marine Primarch with a lasgun. You're going to die.
I want to say that's not 100% true. Yes, you will die 99.99999% likely. However, hear me out, you succeed.
That's a fair point.
Right? Think of the glory. It's all for the Emperor.
Yes, it is.
Primarch for the Emperor, but that's his son.
Yeah, well, he's chaos.
There are Primarchs.
He's turned spaghetti.
There are Primarchs that have turned to chaos. There are a group of Primarchs that are evil.
Yeah, he's turned
Maybe
spaghetti.
They just need good hugs.
No, Angron does not need a hug. He's a demon prince.
Maybe his dad just needs to give him a hug.
No, his dad is a skull on a fucking throne. Effectively.
Okay. help me out with this. Who's the guy who's part of the Night Lords? Who's their Primarch? The Night Lords Primarch?
Batman?
Yeah, basically, Batman in power armor.
Yep.
And his whole thing is he gets kicks out of skinning people in pitch blackness. So it's not good. Don't fight him.
Yeah. Look, all I'm going to say is, in terms of Primarchs, there's only a few that I actually care about.
That's a fair point.
So I don't remember the rest of them because I just don't care about them. There's people way better than us, and you should follow them at...
So,
but because of that, I don't, like, know everybody, you know?
which one was the one that made the vampire ones?
The Vampire Boys? I think that was the Night Lords.
Was that Sanguinus?
Yes,
I
it
think?
was.
Oh, you're talking about Sanguinius.
Oh,
The Blood
Yeah.
Angels.
Yeah.
Slightly different. Actual Vampire Boys.
they're still technically good guys, but I don't think there are any real good guys in the world of 40K. They're varying shades of neutral.
Well, no. It depends on what your definition of good is.
That's a good point.
Because on one side you have, yes, let's expand total control over the universe because our dad said so. On the other side, it's, okay, well, there's some chaos demons that are, like, kind of evil, but they sort of want to fuck, and, like, this guy wants to party, and this guy, he's just got, like, a lot of disease, and he's pretty violent. We might want to wary of him. But overall, they're not super bad, you know. There's those guys, and they just want to stop the spread. However, they also want to spread their own. And then there's like the Eldar who are like, we're elves, we're pretty, unless we're dark, and sometimes we want to destroy everything in the universe. And then there's Necrons where it's like, yo, bro, we're Egypt Terminators.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Tyranids just want to eat everything. And then the boys, they just
wants a good crump and fight.
Yeah, they're probably
That's
the closest
the best
thing
boys.
to good.
All they want is to fight. We don't care whose we fight. We just wants a good fight. Gets the entertainment.
He left out the Tau.
They're Irish. Oh, the Tau don't count. They're Japanese.
They're technically English.
They're weebs.
They don't count.
They're weebs.
Don't they have like the gun armor kind of thing going on or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Space
they're
weeaboos.
Space weeaboos.
Plus, there is one cool Tau Legion. I don't remember the guy that led them, but he's cool. I'll give him props.
All right.
We just wants
You might know him. He ran around with like swords and everything. He was like the only close range Tau.
Yeah. Power squishy.
God bless you.
Sorry.
Yeah, bless everything.
Sorry about that. Anyway, which one's the one that's really good at just doing bombardment?
A bombardment?
The Imperial Guard, you dork.
What do you mean?
Like just artillery
Well,
out the wazoo.
Yeah, that's Imperial Guard.
Oh, so wave after wave of my own men, and then just more boom, 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 boom.
Both at the same time. Hit them. It doesn't matter if they're friendly or not. We've got way more men to back it out.
I shall send wave after wave of my own men to their deaths. I'm willing to say
The Death Corps of Krieg are actually ridiculously famous for their artillery skills.
I want to make sure that guy all the way over there knows that I hate him.
Oh, yeah.
Make it
Reach
so.
out and touch somebody.
Oh, I will reach out and touch somebody. With
Death Corps is awesome.
With to whom it may concern.
Until they're not.
Do you see that new missile we got that's just basically big fucking blades?
Oh. That's another thing about the lore.
The lore.
Yeah, if you read some of the old lore for the Imperial Guard, they describe exactly what a given weapon will do. For example, they have an artillery shell that will airburst and throw tiny sharpened aquilas all over the goddamn place.
Farside
So it's like
Enclaves.
little.
That's who it was.
Say
Farside
again?
Enclaves. That was the close range
Oh,
sound,
yeah.
the Farside Enclaves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Farsight guys are
Ironically
the
named
shit.
since it's
Yeah. Those guys fucking fight like nobody's business. Sorry.
Bit of an ironic name there since it's the
No,
far
it's all
side
good.
but close combat.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing
But
with
that-
farsighted and nearsighted.
I mean, you wouldn't
Yeah,
expect
yeah.
like the Spanish. Oh wait,
Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah,
So-
but that particular artillery round basically just litters the battlefield with batarangs.
so like
So,
I mean, we've kind of done that ourselves in real life, but
Yes, but each batarang that we use in real life is shaped like, I don't know, the island of Costa Rica. They're not really that cool looking. But this specific stuff,
it's
this
a
is
weird
like,
way to phrase
hey,
that.
we're going to stamp the McDonald's sign on everybody's forehead and their torso and their left leg and like maybe their hand.
so why do you like the Imperial Guard?
I just really enjoyed the concept of an everyday man or woman signing up to fight eldritch horrors. It was that whole idea of like, yeah, we're the little guys. We're expendable, but you know, it's not going to stop us from stepping into the line of duty and doing what we have to do in order to protect humanity.
I don't know if
That-
they so
that
much as
resonated.
signed up as we're forced.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. It depends on the world, honestly. There are
If I-
definitely
if I
there are
was in the
definitely
Imper-
worlds.
If I came up
There are
on a
definitely worlds
Tyranid, I'd be
where-
like, I'm not getting paid enough for this shit.
Oh, you should see the animations. Every fight between the Imperial Guard and the Tyranids, there's at least one guy cowering behind a wall ready to shoot himself in the head.
I've seen that trailer for the new Warhammer 40k game. Yes.
Yes, we should talk about the
Exactly.
fact that there are so many 40k games and how the Imperium plays into those.
Ah,
I'll talk about that in Space Marine
What?
trailer.
Go ahead, Mr. Teach.
well, yeah. The problem with that is that, you know, to play as the Imperial Guard, it would be a roguelike. No joke. It would be a roguelike because of how often they die. And to play as a Space Marine, these guys would be squishy, tiny meat shields that literally you have no attachment to. So it's really difficult to build a game around that. But as far as the number of games that are endorsed by Games Workshop that are 40K theme, there are quite literally dozens.
Do they have
I
a
think
Total War?
Vermintide is probably the biggest one right now.
I thought that was not 40k though, because that's the fantasy one, Vermintide.
It is. That would be just Warhammer.
Sigmar?
Warhammer Fantasy.
Is that Sigmar?
I think. I don't know though.
You're not a
Bornheim
doctor?
kind of focuses. No, I'm not a doctor.
Fuck.
Bornheim
Damn it,
focuses
Jim.
more on like 4 individual, fairly low tier specialists in their field. They're not really going to see the big name guys marching across a battlefield. They're literally just storming through the town of Bornheim, which is the same thing that was Darktide for 40K.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest video game guy anymore, so I don't know.
Yeah, I stopped playing video games
Ah,
a while
so-
ago. I just know that Vermintide, Darktide, there was a 40k actual RTS based off of Total War.
I know
Oh,
there's some
dude,
Total
you
War
have
games,
no-
yes.
You have no idea how many RTSs have been put out under the guise of 40K. There's Gladius, there's Dawn of War 2, all of their expansions for those. It gets ridiculous.
I want, and hear me out now, I want to play a tabletop, a D&D, based off of the original Warhammer, like White Dwarf initial run that they did.
I know there's
Ooh,
there's that Rogue Trader game that takes place in the 40k universe. That's supposed to be
Yes,
kind
it
of
does.
D&D-esque. I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
But-
if that's exactly what you're looking for though.
I want to play the OG is what I'm saying. That's like asking to play
Yeah.
D&D issue first edition. No one knows
Wacky
what it
paint
is.
jobs included.
Wacky waving inflatable flailing arm tube.
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. Wacky
That
waving
one.
inflatable arm flailing tube man. Route 2 in Weekapog.
Yeah.
Family Guy
But
reference.
Spradlin, do you remember the art scheme
Whoa,
behind the
whoa,
original?
whoa.
Like,
No last names.
oh,
It's
I
Jackson.
apologize, Jackson. Okay,
I've
that's my bad.
matured.
It's
You saw my
now
beard.
you're a free man now.
No, Freeman is my brother.
Oh,
I've
Okay,
matured.
but do you recall the art for the original paint schemes on the OG 40K stuff?
No, I'm 30.
Dude, you never went out and bought the vintage books and looked at the art?
No,
Googled it?
I'm 30. I have a life.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let me fill you in. You want a video game based on the OG stuff, but the OG stuff
I
quite
didn't say
literally
video
looked like
game.
the
I said
cavalcade.
tabletop.
Oh. Well,
I
you
want
might
to.
want to go 40K Epic.
No, I want to play the original that got the transition from D&D to Warhammer. I want to play that tabletop.
So
fantasy one.
basically So basically 40K first edition.
No, because 40K came out after Warhammer, and
Okay.
that still involved miniatures.
You just want to play with a Warhammer?
I want D&D, but in the 40K universe / Warhammer universe.
But that's Rogue Trader. That is entirely Rogue Trader. But you would have to go back and get the original books.
Yeah, that's what I want.
So what you're saying is you'd have to go get the Rogue Trader for the play style, but then get the original books for the lore.
Velour.
I think that's how
I
you
don't
kinda
know,
wanna
man.
do it. I think that'd
If
be
you
the
want the
easiest way to do it.
original experience, if you want the original
from
experience,
the
you're in for an
80s.
you're in for an AD&D type experience. Charts out the butthole and convoluted rules. It is going to hurt you.
I'm fine with this.
See, I'm tempted. I
Oh,
want
okay.
to kind of play that cyberpunk one,
Cyberpunk.
Shadowrun,
Oh, okay, that one.
but I hear that one's kind of convoluted to play.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Tabletops are convoluted in a lot of senses.
I was tempted to play the
Yes.
vampire one, but I heard all the games end up cursed, so never mind.
Somehow, D&D is the least convoluted. Like D&D
Oh,
itself.
you're talking. Oh, hold up. Which edition is the least convoluted?
5e right now.
Yes, that's correct.
I mean,
I would
it's
say
made for
that
the normies.
AD&D.
Thank you.
It's made for normies.
It
that's
is
why.
made normies.
Yeah. And then there's a couple patches where it's like, hey, I heard you like Critical Role. That's a popular podcast. Let's include
God.
that.
Listen. It's good for what it is, and I enjoy watching it. But not everything has to be that.
Vox Machina was pretty solid.
That was a condition.
It was. It was fun.
But Pathfinder, to me, I haven't tried Pathfinder 2, I won't lie. Pathfinder was solid.
They have a
3.5
Vampire D expansion for it now.
What's up?
They have a Vampire D expansion for it now.
For Pathfinder or Pathfinder 2?
Pathfinder, whatever one it is.
So there's Pathfinder 2 right now by Paizo, which I haven't.
I had not heard.
It was a
Pathfinder 2 came out in like 2021.
well, the Vampire D. Thing,
Yeah, dude. I'm out of the loop.
It was a. It was a.
Old news, son.
Well, because they were doing a comic run. They made a Vampire D comic book and they kickstarted it, and then they worked with the Pathfinder guys to also do a Pathfinder expansion book for it.
We were talking about Imperial Guard somehow.
And you could
Yes, we were.
you could find it at some comic places, but it was sent out with the Kickstarter stuff. But yeah, sorry, I didn't. It's a thing now though. Like the other one. Sorry.
Imperial Guard.
Do they have any chain swords?
Typically, no.
Yes.
Typically, no.
sergeants.
Typically, no.
Do they have the super
Some of them,
bayonet?
yes.
Sergeants carry chainswords.
Yeah, but that's not typical. Not everybody's a sergeant.
Wait, who gets the super bayonets?
That's fair.
Who does get the super bayonets?
Where it's like 4 bayonets just taped together.
Oh, orcs?
Ah, boys.
Okay,
just
so
give them in various levels of green.
the standard thing is that most Imperial Guard regiments opt for a longer bayonet because it is more effective for any kind of melee engagement. However, the standard bayonet it's pretty standard. It's short.
Your standard.
Some regiments prefer axes. Some regiments carry halberds. Some regiments have shovels. Death Corps Creek.
Okay.
But it really depends on the regiment and the world. For example, the guys from Catachan, the jungle fighters that are all John Rambos, they carry Bowie knives. Pardon my French. But it really just depends. Now, if you're talking about, you said fancy bayonets. If you meant something of a higher tech level, your sergeant's not going to be carrying that. He's going to have either a chainsword or just a fixed blade sword, usually. If you're looking for something that is what did they call them? They were like basically a mono blade sword that had a force field around it, and it would phase in and out so that when you hit something like a chainsaw, it would take tiny chunks as you cleaved through it. I can't remember what they were called.
That sounds like something from Ringworld.
That does.
Oh, hey, you get that
Vibra
reference.
knives or something.
No, that would be something else.
I do have a question for you.
Okay.
I know from previous history that you've read some of the books. Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Doth thou havest any recommendations for the enlightened reader?
I very much do. One of the most
Specifically
iconic...
to Imperial Guard.
No, I totally understand. Those were the ones that I picked up and religiously tackled. The most famous Imperial Guard book segment out of the Black Library would be Gaunt's Ghosts.
Yes.
Gaunt's Ghosts is a regiment called the Tanith First and Only, and they are basically Scottish bagpipe ninjas.
I'm sorry, what?
You heard him.
Yes. Blue tattoos, like the Celtic blue tattoos. They wear camo cloaks to increase their stealth effectiveness. They're basically stealth commandos.
Huh.
You heard the gentleman.
And yes, their
the
commanding officer.
Go ahead, the commanding officer.
Sorry. Their commanding officer is this guy named Ibram Gaunt, who is actually, and this is fairly rare in the 40K universe, both a commissar and the commanding officer of that entire regiment.
Why is that uncommon?
Well, commissars normally are not your friend. They are not people you look up to. They're not leaders. They're there to make sure you don't run the fuck away. However, Ibram is a different cut. He was trained by a war master who eschewed values of leadership and sacrifice for the men underneath you. So he's less like your average commissar and more like the commanding officer you wish you always had.
I feel like we covered loosely what a commissar is. Did we cover War Master?
The thing about a war master is that they are in charge of anything from a single campaign theater, like a single continent on a single planet, all the way up to various solar systems. They're in charge of a large portion of an entire theater, be that as it may. But I believe this war master in question, his name was Slado, spelled with a Y in there somewhere. And the guy was actually a pretty solid leader. But yeah, it's part of the command structure. And the command structure of the Imperial Guard gets goofy real quick.
Okay. Understood. No further questions. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could answer those questions for you, nerd.
You know an author I like does some Warhammer books?
What?
An author I enjoy does some Warhammer books? Kim Newman. Did the
Really?
Yeah.
Are they Imperial Guard books? As we are currently just trying to discuss?
No, they're the vampire ones.
I'm gonna level with you. I am a staunch supporter of Dan Abnett.
Fair enough. I don't read, so I'm a staunch supporter of Watching videos.
Well, you don't or you can't.
Yes.
He's refused so long, he kind of forgot how to.
Correct.
Oh, that's great.
What does it say here?
I don't know. We're not sponsored.
Ah, got him. What does it say there? On your...
This one, it's Doughboys Cannabis. I got it from the event we were at.
Doughboys Cannabis.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not a shout out.
It's one of the things I got.
Check them out. Maybe they'll hook you up with some stuff.
I did tag him in a photo on Instagram with us.
Child.
Hey, Garrett said too. I also tagged the
Smack Attack?
No, I gotta get them. I got the Maricinera, us.
The usual suspects.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I'll add Smack Attack later.
TJ?
And the Wombat.
Yes, indeed.
Sir, I feel as though...
Gentlemen.
You have been a pleasure.
I mean...
Well, thank you. I had a lot of fun talking about this stuff.
Don't you lie to me.
Oh, wow.
Would you like to come back on for a further episode involving...
I don't know. Whatever you want.
My guy, I think you got bleeped there by some piece of technological wizardry. Come back on in regards to...
Correct. What I had asked was, would you like to come back on to discuss further episode of insert...
He's just kind of leaving that as a
You're a
blank
fun
space.
guy, and yeah, I would love to do this again. This was a good time.
Thank you.
We try.
We need to talk to you more. And by we, I mean me.
Yeah.
It's been
that
far
would be a
too
good
long.
time.
And I appreciate everything that you do for the safety of wherever you're at, based off of whatever you do.
It's thank you for supporting me as a member of this illustrious community. I have never been prouder.
Excellent. Is there anything you'd like to sign us off with? Check out Insert Book. Check out Insert War. Check out yourself.
The only thing I can really have to promote is Struggle Bus Champ on TikTok. But past that, I would just say read the older D&D stuff. It has phenomenal artwork.
D&D? We were talking about Imperial Guard.
That's true, but also the older Imperial Guard stuff.
Okay, so check out the old Imperial Guard stuff. Do you have any books? Like, very specific. Shout them out if you want.
Go with the Gaunt's Ghosts book, First and Only.
That's it? The one book?
Yes.
Just that one
check
book.
it out. I mean, the whole series is good.
Okay. So you're saying check out the whole Black Library involving everything and anything up into World Eaters.
Yeah,
My boys.
Yeah. Took the words out of my mouth.
My boys, not your boys.
Took
The
the
boys
words
is different.
Are we meatloafing here? The best boys.
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
to have you back on, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Hey, man. Happy Kwanzaa.
R.I.P. Coolio.
Merry Christmas.
Goodbye, Jimmy Buffett.
Later on, pumpkin.